Hi everyone. Today we have Roseanna, and she's a wonderful life and spiritual coach. And it's a blessing to have her here. And we have been we were looking for someone from this space, from life coaching space, and it's a great thing that we have found Roseanna. And yeah, so let's welcome Roseanna. How are you doing?
I am really well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Great. So I was actually I was quite intrigued with your journey, Roseanne. I was going through your journey, and there are many things which really fascinated me. And there is one of the things which was about your journey. So you mentioned that you experienced your spiritual awakening at the age of 30 when you went through dark night of soul, your own, time, you know. So I would like to know from you if you would like to share about your journey, if that's okay with you, with our audiences, so that they can also see some light and they can, it can empower them in a way that can help them to transform the way you have done the transition. So if you can please share your journey.
Yeah, of course. I thought that 30 was going to be the year that I had extreme business success. And I turned 30 in lockdown, and my business was doing really well. I was in a relationship, and we thought we were happy, and we were looking at buying a house in London, and then a few months later, I ended the relationship because I knew it wasn't right. I'd started kind of connecting to myself on a much deeper level through meditation and journaling, and moving from simply personal development into spiritual development as well. And then we split up. I moved into my dream apartment. My business was flying, and I was diagnosed with triple negative breast cancer. And so this sort of started my grand awakening as to there is so much more to life than the superficial idea of success that we're sold. And this started my dark night of the soul. So questioning the really deep questions of life, why we're here, do I enjoy being here, how can I survive, and going through cancer, going through a complete identity shift in business, physically, in relationships, because you question, am I going to be lovable after this? Because your physical appearance changes so much, you kind of question, am I on the right life path? Am I in the right business? Am I in the right career? Am I following my purpose? And then obviously physically in my health, I changed dramatically. So I started just really asking the big questions and being given big answers as to kind of how I could make changes. And then over the last 3 years, so that was 3 years ago, I have delved into spirituality and connecting deeper with the self, with source, to figure out why I'm here and how I can make change.
I have seen people, they actually, there is something, I think something you were destined for, something probably the path written for you. So probably help others, to empower others. I don't know how it works, but I'm sorry to hear that you went through a lot of your challenges during this journey. But the most fascinating thing is the way you have empowered yourself, the way you found your answers, your inner self. I would like to know, like, you help others, and there would be times when, you know, you would be speaking to people, and they speak about that there is something missing in their life, that they're looking for the, they're going on this quest of journey, they are looking for some answers, they are looking for their own life purpose. So what answer do you have for that? Like, how do you help them?
What answers do I have for somebody looking for their life purpose is to go within. You have to spend time with yourself. You have to reassess your entire life. You have to go through. There's a really simple personal development exercise called the Wheel of Life. And you go through every aspect of your life. It's one of the most simple exercises, and there are so many downloads on it. I have a download on my website that I give to all of my clients, like, fill this in every month. We're going to assess your life and all aspects of it, from finances, relationships, health, every area of your life. And tell me if it's a 10 out of 10. Tell me if you're enjoying it. Tell me what more you feel you can bring to that area, and sit with yourself in silence. Get yourself inspired. I advise to open with a kind of heart opening meditation to connect to yourself and your soul, and then journal and write what comes up. And in there's going to be little nuggets that will share, you have the answers within you. You just have to be quiet enough to listen to them. So assessing your entire life is a great starting point to find your purpose. If you're not happy, change it. If you're not happy, if you're noticing that things are not going well, not going right, it's a whisper from the universe. It's a whisper from your higher self, your soul, to say, pay attention, wake up, what are you doing? Like, this isn't your path. If you just make this little shift into what might make you happier, this is your path. And I think that's how you find your purpose.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thanks for sharing this. Like Wheel of Life, I know, and I'm not sure anybody actually, like you said, anybody who actually checks, gets 10 out of 10 in that. there's always, people are looking for answers, solutions in some area of their life, and yeah, thanks for this reminder about following this. It looks simple, very effective tool. As a life coach, you're a human being, right? And
maybe.
So you go through your own challenges. How do you handle your own imposter syndrome? There are times because you are helping so many people. There are times, so this inner whisper, inner talks for you also. It comes. How do you deal with that, and how do you help yourself?
It gets easier. Yes, I'm human and I have an ego, and everybody has an ego, and that's the problem solving part of us. And the logical part, the part that wants to keep us safe, which is where the imposter syndrome comes from. And I always bring myself back to the reminder of, I am not the ego. I am one with source. I am bigger. There is a divine intelligence running through me that is helping me, that is guiding me on my path. And if it's for me, it will come to me. If it's not for me, it won't. And it's like a muscle that you build, this inner confidence in knowing that you're so much more than your limiting beliefs and negative self-talk. That is not you. That is a protection mechanism. You can let that go. So and releasing attachment to the idea of who we are, releasing attachment to what it is that we think we want, and bringing a lot of compassion to myself, because at least I'm showing up, at least I'm going for these things. And I think that's when the ego wins, is when we let it, when we let the imposter syndrome win and we don't try anyway. I think the key is to notice it, acknowledge it, and do it anyway.
Yeah, how beautiful is that? Like you mentioned about not seeing the things through your own ego, just let it pass. You also mentioned about self-love and self-compassion, and this is one of the topics which I speak about quite a lot. But I also know there are people, they are yet to be aware of this. So there are times when people think, is it really necessary? Is it not being selfish that speaking about self-compassion, self-love? And I also know, like, I have a fellow coach, and she said, like, when she tries to explain to her friends that you need to take care of your own oxygen mask as a parent before helping others, so they don't agree with that. So we know that there is a resistance. Some people, they do think that it's others' life which is more important than our life, and serving is important, but then having that boundary wherein you give yourself that space, that self-love, self-compassion to be able to help others. So how do you, like, help others to understand this?
Well, I mean, again, I have first-hand experience of this, but you ask yourself, can you give your 100% in anything if you're not looking after yourself first? If you're not giving yourself that which you wish to give others, then how much help are you really? It's that pouring from an empty cup. We can't do that. And so I just ask people to, once again, sit with themselves and ask questions. Maybe start with, why do I not feel that I can love myself? Why do I not feel that I can have compassion towards myself? Am I or am I not trying my hardest every day? Do I or do I not deserve love? Some really difficult questions to ask, but very important. And I think the more that you can give yourself love and compassion, and it can start small, hand on heart, breathing into heart, is going to bring in a little, connect you to love a bit more. And the more that you can do that, the more that you can help other people in the world. We can't pour from an empty cup. It just doesn't work. If you're tired, grouchy, grumpy, and not caring for yourself, that energy is going to come off. Like, people are going to pick up on that energetically before they see that you're trying to help them. It's going to have the opposite effect of what your intention is.
Oh, this is so beautiful. And like, every words can say anything, but energy, like you said, it doesn't lie, and people can sense it. So beautiful. I happened to read something. I think you've written something beautiful, and I think I'll definitely share it here. So you've written, you are not the limitations of your unconscious mind, and to live the life you desire, you need to make the unconscious conscious. Can we discuss a bit about it? Like, so how would you explain that? I mean, I would like it to come from you.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
So making it simpler for others to understand, and really, it can be an awakening moment for many people. Yeah. So yeah, if you can please share your mindset and thinking about it.
The unconscious mind, the beauty and the complexity of the unconscious mind, it is controlling our every action, or every decision, or every reaction, our beliefs, our personality. And this is like the main point of my work, is that I help other people become aware of their unconscious mind so that they can begin to consciously create their life. And there's a quote by Carl Jung, which is, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Meaning that until you are aware that your unconscious mind is controlling how you act and show up, your ego, your shadow, until you're aware of these parts of your psyche, then you're just going to keep on going through life thinking, oh, that was just bad luck. That was just bad luck that happened in my life. Or, we are creating our reality, but 95% with our mind, but 95% of our mind is unconscious. What if we tapped into a bigger percentage? It's the iceberg. we're operating from the very tip of the iceberg. What if we were to tap into some of our depth, some of our unconscious mind, the subconscious, but also the collective unconscious, the superconscious of our higher self, of the universe, and think about the magic that we can create there. I believe that you have to address your shadow self, your limiting beliefs, any blocks, patterns that you see happening in your life. You have to address them, feel into them, love them, integrate them, and make a new decision. That new decision that comes from your free will, because we do have free will once we're aware of our unconscious patterns. So when you can make a decision from your free will, then you can begin to consciously create your life.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is so powerful, and you have spoken about unconscious mind, shadow work, and I know it is a great deal. Like going through this entire shadow work, making those changes. It's first of all being aware of it, and then going through these changes. It's actually kind of it is, I think, one of the most difficult thing to go through in life, but it's highly rewarding, I would put it like that. Thanks for sharing this. I have a question, Roseanna. Like, there are times, and first of all, like, why emotions are so important in all this thing, like going through this journey and otherwise. And there are times when the emotions cloud your own judgments. So how do you help there? How do you help yourself, and how do you support others? So being aware of, first of all, knowing the judgment is not true. It's clouded, and then working towards it. So if you can just share some light on this, please.
Yeah, so emotions are messengers. They are messengers to where we can heal something within ourselves. Try not to make decisions from emotion, based on emotion. First of all, feel into the emotion. Emotion is just energy, and it's energy that it gets stuck in the body if we don't address it. It gets repressed in the body if we don't address it, and turns into things like, physical illness, stress, and it can begin to control that life that way by keeping you anxious, depressed, stressed, making unhealthy decisions until you can see all of your emotional self without judgment and just loving it. So it's really simple. I mean, this is like a huge topic, isn't it? As you know. So how I suggest people work with emotions and how I work with emotions is by sitting and feeling it, sitting in silence. If you can fully feel an emotion, as I said, it's energy, it will move through your body in 90 seconds. Sometimes it takes longer depending on how deep we can go into it. But if you can sit and breathe into an emotion, releasing the stories and the words that your mind is throwing at you about this emotion, like why I feel angry, release that. It doesn't mean anything. That's just trying to keep you in the loop of anger. Release the judgment. Anger isn't bad. Anger is another form of passion. Release the judgment, release the stories of the emotion, feel into them, love them, because it is a part of you. And whilever you're judging it, you're pushing it further away. It's staying repressed in your body, and it will continue to control how you're acting. Love it, breathe into it, feel it, ask it questions. What are you trying to protect me from? And then you can release it, and it will release, and it might release through crying, it might release through laughter, it might release through you screaming and punching a pillow. All is totally okay. Yeah. But be aware of your emotions and what they're trying to tell you, and kind of not what the mind is trying to tell you, but what the feeling in your body is trying to tell you, protect you from. Love it, release it.
This is, this is so interesting. And I think if people are hearing this, they can really manage their emotions very well. The way you explain. But it's hard also
It is.
when someone is angry. There's
Mm-hmm.
a trigger. Someone is going through, emotions. It's very hard to be laughing about it sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
or taking it easy,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, what are the practical ways they can, if you can just share something, like what are the practical ways they can help themselves?
Yeah. I think when you notice the emotion arising, when you notice that you're triggered, take a step back from anything that, don't place judgment or react to the trigger. If you can, separate yourself from the situation, walk away, using anger maybe as an example, walk away, take some breaths, and if you can, find a quiet space. In this quiet space, breathe. Just notice where the anger sits in your body and breathe into it. And journal on it. Get everything out onto paper. But this is where compassion comes in. You have to have compassion for yourself, and it doesn't sound practical. It's not like I'm giving you a tablet to take or a kind of a tangible thing to do, but you will notice the more and more that you learn to breathe into your emotions and release judgment of the trigger and yourself, you will notice that you become triggered less, you understand more, and the emotion releases quicker. So it's an awareness. And if you can't feel into the emotion in that time, it like immediately, say you're at work and you feel a sadness coming up and you don't have space to go, you can't just run off to the toilet and scream or whatever, and you don't want to cry at work, totally understandable. Go, once you get home, set aside 15 minutes to just see what it was trying to tell you, see what the message was, and love it and release it.
Oh yeah, this is quite useful. So, like I strongly feel challenges in your life are there to shape you for a better future, to bring you closer to your better version. If at all people are listening to that, challenges can really um, help you transform. So, I would like to know from you, since you are a life and spiritual coach, what is the role of spirituality in that, to to provide that sense of strength and resilience during the challenging times? And you yourself have gone through challenging times when you had your own spiritual awakening, when things started to probably become clear. And so I would like to know from you, what is the you know so what is the role of that? A lot of
Yeah.
people, they still no, they still don't understand what spirituality is in true sense. So that is the reason this question is like, especially during
Yeah.
challenging times, how
Of
can it
course.
strengthen? Yeah.
So there are I have lots of things.
Yeah, please go ahead.
To me, spirituality is believing in the unseen and not just the physical. So we know science is proving that science has proven that we're energetic beings. It's also proven that local reality materialism isn't real. So we're living in an energetic universe. So that to me is what spirituality is. It's believing in the unseen. And having faith in something higher than our ego mind, higher than our logical brain, higher than this physical body, like looking like to nature and thinking what is ruling when the flowers bloom, and what is it that gave me this being, this personality that flows the air and the life through me, and just kind of asking some questions around that. And then in the challenging times, for me personally, when I had cancer and when I was going to chemotherapy and having to make decisions, I had to make a decision I made the decision to stop chemotherapy early because I knew that I was done. I tapped in, I knew intuitively that I'd healed. And I didn't want any more chemo because it was really affecting me physically, mentally. I was having suicidal thoughts. I was so weak and drained and having manic episodes where it was really unpleasant, especially towards the end. And I had to question, am I okay with dying? If I stop chemo early and I've made the wrong decision, am I okay with the thought that I might die prematurely, And what gave me solace in this time was knowing that I was being guided by something higher than myself, that I wasn't making all of these decisions, that my brain wasn't the thing that was healing the cancer inside me. My brain wasn't the thing that was helping the tumor shrink. It was something greater, a higher intelligence that flows through me, that flows through the universe. So I think it's just having faith that you're not alone and that there is a higher intelligence that flows through you, that flows through the universe, that helps the Earth orbit around the sun, that kind of guides everything in a divine, timely manner, that everything just seems to flow and work. So I think it's just having belief and faith and just questioning it. It means something different to everybody. This is what I've found to be true. And yeah, I could talk for hours about this.
No, yeah, I mean, I can, like with your story, the way you explained it, definitely needed strength. And like you said, you felt that there is some higher, power guiding you through with things. So opening up to this awakening is profound, although it's very challenging, very painful. But then, yeah. So I think the audiences would get a message, especially the ones who are going through something. They can see a ray of light, hope with your own journey. I have another question to ask Roseanna. Nowadays, people are aware of life coaching. And this is something like, earlier, I'm not sure. I mean, if you ask me some time ago, even I didn't hear I didn't hear about it. Now I am a coach. I'm myself as a life coach and a business coach. But then, how important it is to have a life coach. So I would like to hear from you. Like, nowadays, people are becoming aware of this term, that it is important. But yeah, what do you think? Like, where is the awareness of people are currently, and how important it is to have a life coach?
I think everybody should have a life coach, just like we have dentists and just like we have doctors. I think that if you want to live your very best life, if you want to experience the most that life has to offer, get yourself a life coach, because they will be able to see your life from a different perspective. They will be able to push you in the ways that you need pushing and challenging. They will hold you accountable to achieve your goals, and they can see through your patterns that are holding you back. They can see your unconscious mind and unconscious ways, depending on how they're trained, clearer than you can. And they can help you set a plan, and they can help you. It's like having your own cheerleader in your pocket. Coaching and therapy are different. I think if you're kind of we need different things for different times in our lives. But I think if you're in a space where you're wanting to thrive, you're wanting to understand yourself more, you're wanting to create the very best life that you can, having a life coach to push you, to support you, to encourage you, to inspire you is absolutely necessary.
Oh yeah, I love the way you explain, like having like people have dentists. They go to, so it's like that normal. And why not? Because it's a human life.
Yeah.
Humans are the one who's creating everything in their career, in relationships, and then but then still feeling lack of fulfillment. Probably sometimes the relationships get affected
Hmm.
and health get affected, career get affected. So yeah, it's very important. Thanks for sharing your view. These are the questions I had, for you, Rosanna. I'm feeling so great that I could feel it. It was coming right from your heart, from your journey. Would you like to share something about, like, if you have anything to, any tools, any techniques to share with the audience, and they can probably connect with you?
Yeah. Um, I like to give everybody this one piece of advice. Some people love it and some people hate it, but it is get to know yourself. In order to live the very best life that you can, you need to know thyself and you need to fall in love with thyself. And from that space, you can create the very best life that is available to you. As far as we know, yes, we all have different beliefs on reincarnation and past lives and how many more lives we might get to live. But right now, you have one life and you're here for, you don't know how long for. So make the very, very best out of it. If you are interested in kind of deepening your connection to your spiritual self and understanding your unconscious mind more, I do have a higher self meditation that you can download, and that will gives you a meditation to help you connect to your higher self, but also through a series of other trainings and meditations, it helps you understand your unconscious mind more, see where your blocks are, see how you can begin to create the very best life that you can. And I'm sure we'll share the link to that.
So thank you so much, Rosanna. It was wonderful talking to you. I totally enjoyed this conversation, and yeah, we could finally make it. And so thank you so much for your time.